single best chart with Carl Weinberg. We could do one on Hong Kong, but better, let us go back to foundational Weinberg analysis, which is debt crisis in South America. It is, and Carl knows this. I made this chart quickly. It's not the most beautiful chart I've ever done. It is the true devaluation of Argentina back a decade from a stunning 3 and 4 pesos out to 45 pesos per dollar. It is a banana republic chart, Dr. Weinberg. What does the IMF do with a peso and with 55% inflation? If you take over as managing director for Madame Lagarde, what do you do?
Well, the medicine isn't nice, and it's not one to get a good political reception.
The medicine hasn't worked so far, has it?
No, it hasn't really been applied either, and that's the problem. The advice that the IMF gives doesn't have a lot of political traction, especially in a place like Argentina. So I think we're looking at a prolonged instability in the economy. I'm not personally tracking it that carefully right now, but I would say that if I were the incoming IMF director, I would kind of wait for politics and economics to force the government into addressing this head on rather than trying to dive in right now.
Do you have a tendency that the non-conservatives, the Fernandez and the people winning well in this primary, that they have a plan? I mean, is there a theory or strategy for the salvation of Argentina?
Well, as I say, I'm not tracking Argentina directly right now, so I don't have a strict view on what's going on. But politicians usually say what they have to say to get elected rather than to say about what they're going to have to do when they get elected. So I think right now what we're going to see out of Argentina and what's being promised right now are probably going to be two different things.
Carl, what's your take on dollar? If you're an emerging market, you don't want dollar too strong. If you're the Fed, if you're President Trump, you don't want dollar too strong. So where does it go from here?
Yeah, but the dollar still seems to be getting stronger, doesn't it, Francine? So much for wishing makes it so. I think that a lot of safe haven money is flowing into the United States right now just on the basis of the economic fundamentals. I mean, forget the 200-plus basis point interest rate differentials that we're seeing at the long end of the curve. Forget positive yields versus negative yields in Europe. But on top of everything else, the U.S. is growing with some stability. I mean, maybe we'll get an economic downturn, maybe we'll get an economic slowdown, maybe we'll get neither. But in any case, what's on our horizon is less scary than what's on the horizon for Europe, where German GDP is going to contract in the second quarter report later this week. It's less scary than Japan, where people are dying and the population's shrinking and nothing looks good over there. It's less scary even than China right now because of the instability in Hong Kong. Makes people think that even though the Chinese economy is growing, there's some mushy stuff going on around all of that gives investors some pause. So the U.S. seems like a good place to park money right now, and I think we're going to continue to get a stronger dollar out of it.